The Atlanta Falcons did not turn the ball over. Their quarterback played like a top 10 quarterback, maybe even a top 5 quarterback of the week. They outgained the Bucs by over 100 yards. Baker Mayfield, 167 yards passing. He was also their leading rusher, completely stymied the Bucs on the offensive side of the ball, and they lose this game at home. That's just something playoff teams don't do. Like, you don't play that clean of a game in so many different aspects and lose the game. But the reason that they lost the game is on the margins. They were a complete failure. And everything that you talk about coaching in this league, they failed. It starts with the fact that Younghoe Koo is the kicker on this team. I'm sorry. Like, yes, that's what we're all going to talk about. Like, and everyone's going to blame Younghoe Koo. Don't blame the guy because he can't kick. We all knew he couldn't kick last year. We were all well aware of this. He cost us a postseason berth last year. He cost us 3 or 4 games. And we didn't bring in any legitimate competition. Like, we can say Lenny Krieg, he was a 22-year-old guy from Germany that we saw on the combine kick. And we're like, okay, let's bring him in. That's competition. That's not competition. I mean, it should have been probably because he might be a better option. But that was the form of competition that we brought in. And it was basically handed to Koo. I mean, even Raheem Morris said he's got something in my heart or whatever. Like, he's pulling on my heartstrings. I'm not going to just, throw him out to the wall. But listen, this is the NFL. Like, do you want to keep your job? Do you want to keep your job? No, he shouldn't have been on there. Special teams were a joke. I mean, what the hell was that? I mean, they were in plus field position, holding penalties all day. We were in bad field position. They won the field position battle on special teams. Absolutely crushed us on special teams. And then on top of that, you have Zach Robinson, who is Raheem Morris's. We talked about him all offseason. We expected, hopefully, year 2, it'd be better. It's not a good start. It was not a good start. And then you go back to the preseason thing. None of these guys playing. There was some sloppy ball, yada, yada, yada. Could that made a 3-point difference? It just seems that to me, it was as bad of a look on Raheem Morris as possible based on all the decisions that he made this offseason. Coaching hires, Younghoe Koo, not playing starters in the preseason. Then you throw in some special teams and penalties issues. And you're like, what does a head coach do? Does all that stuff. And all that stuff is why we lost this game.
Yeah, I mean, Koo's a mental midget right now. I mean, he can't be trusted.
The way
with
that he
the game
was
on
flying,
the line.
the way he flailed after the kick. Did you see that?
It is no.
He fell down like, just like
comically.
He knew like the ball was. I mean,
he
if you
sliced it. I mean, he literally sliced it. I mean, that looks like my golf shot. I'm a joke.
I kind of want to get a picture of it hanging and just like remind myself of the pain because like Younghoe Koo literally turns around and just goes down and just like flails.
Well,
down
it is a literal perfect example of what I've been talking about of the kicker competition all off season long, that you can try and simulate these moments and, get in their heads and give them preseason opportunities and bring in competition. Nothing can replace the moment against your division rival in the final seconds to send your team to overtime. Nothing can replace that moment. There is not a more mental position in the sport of football, maybe even in sports, maybe closer in baseball and
maybe like golf.
Maybe golf being a kicker and then like a closer in baseball. There's obviously a physical aspect to it, but it's so much more mental than maybe other positions that like when you're dead, you're dead. There is we now know what we have in Koo, and it's a guy who's a well below average kicker. I don't know the exact number, but 80% of the games in week 1 in the NFL were decided by one score. And that's just not some anomaly, especially for these Atlanta Falcons. It feels like we play in more one-score games than just about any team in football. The reality is the NFL, the margins are so thin, they're all one-score games because of the competition level. You win on the margins, and having a kicker who you can't rely on. This wasn't a 58-yard field goal, people. This wasn't even a 50-yard field. This is a 44-yard field goal. In today's NFL, that is a chip shot. In the college ranks, that is a chip shot. You are expecting college kickers to make that at Power 4 programs. And I know for a fact, most Falcons fans were like, I was sitting watching it with my buddy, and we were like, he's going to miss this. And I bet a lot of people were thinking that as Falcons fans, that we just don't have faith, and he folded. I don't know how you can go into week 2 against the Vikings across this stretch of games of 6-ish weeks. We're going to be in close games every single week where it is going to come. He doinked an extra point.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like this was just a one-time thing. Like, there is a legitimate reason not to trot him out there in week 2. And spare me there's not better options out there. There's got to be better options out there.
The Bills just picked up Matt Prater on Thursday. He made a game-winning kick for him yesterday.
Give me a break.
The Bills won on the back of their kicker just last night, who they picked up off the side of the street, who was coaching high school football for his son in Arizona. They flew him on a red eye to go play this game against the Ravens, and he won him a game. Like, there are people out there that can make these kicks. Hell, we might even have one on the roster in Lenny Craig. I don't know. I mean, like you said, you can't simulate the moments, but maybe he is that guy. Maybe the point that
you won't know until the bullets are flying.
You know what? You know who we know isn't that guy? Koo. Like, that's what we know.
Everybody loves Koo in Atlanta. He did a lot of great things, but this is not some new problem. This is not a new phenomenon. And like you said, the issues of losing on the margins, there is a common theme, and it boils down to Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris hung on to Kirk Cousins for too long. Michael Penix takes over sooner last year. Who knows what happens? Koo's dealing with an injury, mental stuff, whatever it is last year. That cost us a playoff spot. Now we're behind the 8 ball because he's still choosing to put his faith in a guy that has proven over the course of pretty much now. I mean, it dated back even to 2023. 2023, it was looking like, oh, wow, Koo, I don't know. And then 2024, it really reared its ugly head. And then on top of that, you got the only Sean McVay disciple in Zach Robinson who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Every other Sean McVay disciple and Kyle Shanahan disciple, other than maybe Mike McDaniel might be the outlier as well. We're like, the Falcons hired the only Sean McVay disciple who's a moron. I mean, we're running at Vita Vea, who is a refrigerator of a human being, over and over and over again in short yardage situations. And our counter to that is getting Bijan Robinson in a whatever kind of formation that was.
Is that the wing tee?
It's not the wing. I don't know what that is. It's like a split eye. It's almost an eye formation with another guy. I don't know what it was, but it's just awful play calling. Michael Penix Jr. saved Zach Robinson from ultimate embarrassment. And I get you can't go completely away from the run. No outside zone whatsoever. We cannot run to the left side of the line of scrimmage for whatever reason. I don't know if it's Jake Matthews. I don't know what the hell it is. Zach Robinson's play calling, play design is not even mediocre. I mean, I'm more concerned with that than anything. And then I got people on Twitter telling me, don't blame Raheem, blame Koo, blame Zach Robinson. Who brought those guys in? Who is sticking by those guys? I mean, are we really going to defend Raheem Morris for Jimmy Lake? That was his hire. Yes, he brought in Jeff Ulbrich. It looks good so far, but he also, I mean, how many chances is this guy going to get?
Well, the point is the coaching staff is supposed to win you games. Like, good coaching staff's just like, oh man, we just snuck out a win. We had no business winning, right? And right now, it is more evident that every time that we walk into a game on Sunday, Monday, whenever the hell the game is, we have a coaching disadvantage. Like, our offensive coordinator is worse than their offensive coordinator. I think Ulbrich did good things. All right, credit for that. Why the hell was Jimmy Lake here in the first place? Like, Zach Robinson, like his first 2 coordinator hires are looking about as bad as possible.
You can't get credit for fixing the problem without first taking ownership of said problem. Like, yes, I will give credit where it's due in terms of Jeff Ulbrich. Good. But we can also acknowledge the fact that we hired a guy in Jimmy Lake that probably shouldn't even have a job as a defensive coordinator.
But whether it's timeouts, whether it's the kicking, whether it's replacing Kirk Cousins, whether it's playing guys in the preseason, whatever it is.
And spare me the first-year head coach bullcrap.
This guy's
he's been a head coach and around a head coaching like for 20 plus years.
He has been coaching since like the 90s.
Some guys are just coordinators. That's okay.
I mean, listen, and some guys are raw guys. I don't know. People like Raheem Morris. I like Raheem Morris. I would love nothing more than Raheem Morris to get this team over the hump. But, I remember saying something before this season. It's like, well, I just hope Michael Penix is the guy. Well, we know that if they ended up missing the playoffs with this team, with the talent that they have on this team in this division that is totally winnable, go watch the New Orleans Saints and Carolina Panthers.
For the first time in a very, very long time, I'll tell you that I think Terry Fontenot did a pretty damn good job putting this roster together. For the first time ever since he took over. This loss is nowhere near him. All of those rookies he drafted this past year look like they're going to be real game players. The good news, we can find a new head coach and we can find a new kicker. Finding a franchise quarterback's a lot harder to do, and we got that last one.
Well, and listen, We can sit here, and I don't want to say this too early because I hope Raheem Morris maybe learns from his mistakes and totally turns this entire tenure around, because it hasn't been good to this point. I don't think anybody can argue with that. But if the thing that Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson, two guys that have underwhelmed thus far, if they brought us Michael Penix and then we can just say peace, I think we'll take that. We would take that.
No hard feelings.
No hard. You know what? You brought us Michael Penix. We suck. You just couldn't get us game to game. It wasn't you. Hey, but you brought us Michael Penix. We'll take that. We'll take that. We'll get into some college football coming up after the break. There's something on my mind that we've got to talk about, Alex. I told you on Friday. On Friday. Upset of the week. We'll talk about it after the break. Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. I actually predicted the game to be 23-20, but I had the Falcons winning 23-20. So I don't know if that gets you any bonus points. But listen, there was good. A lot of good. I mean, Michael Penix, to me, the question is no longer is this guy the next franchise quarterback? It's is he going to be a top 15 quarterback, or can he be, upper echelon? Is he going to be in that 10 to 15 where Matt Ryan was a lot of his career, or, some like a Dak Prescott, or can he be the upper echelon of the top 5? And from what we've seen, particularly in the fourth quarters, and this is just off the top of my head, so correct me if you think that I'm not giving him enough credit or too much credit. In the last 3 games, he's had 6 drives to tie or take the lead for the Falcons. Now, he had two against the Panthers where he scored touchdowns twice in those final 2 drives to tie. The Panthers just came back and scored, and overtime they never got the ball back. He had the touchdown drive against Washington that tied the game, and then he let them back down the field with under a minute to go to kick a 56-yard field goal that we ended up missing. So there you go. There's 4 right there. And then yesterday he has the touchdown drive to give us the lead and the field goal drive at the end of the game and the Tampa Bay Bucs to tie the game. I mean, at the end of the game, he's the best. He's been the best player we've ever seen. I mean, that's how efficient he has been. So that's incredible. But this game was from start to finish, I think, his best performance. I mean, 300 yards, 1 touchdown, shows what he can do with his legs. Doesn't have Darnell Mooney, loses Drake London in the fourth quarter, and he's still able to operate with 3rd and 4th stringers it's nobody's business. I mean, if we want to start with the positive, we have our franchise quarterback, and it's a hell of a lot fun to lose with a franchise quarterback than it is to lose with, Desmond Ridder, Kirk Cousins, or any of those guys playing the quarterback position. So it'll at least be fun to watch. Winning games, maybe a different story.
I mean, in the 3 losses that he is 1-3 in the 4 games he's started. And the 3 losses, none of them are his fault. None of them are his fault. And I'm not one of those guys who's going to boil everything down to a Koo missed kick or a Raheem timeout or special teams blunder. Football is so much more complex than that. But I feel supremely confident in saying the reasons why we lost those 3 games, 2 to end of the year last year, and then obviously the season opener this year, are nowhere near Michael Penix's feet. And you know what is so great about him and having a guy who is a franchise quarterback? He'll put it on. He'll wear it. He'll wear these losses. And he has no business wearing these losses. He shouldn't have any faith in Koo, even though he said it postgame. He shouldn't. But he's going to say that. He's going to portray confidence. He's going to portray a united front. He's going to have his guys back. It's so nice that, we got questions on some individuals, maybe some units as a whole, but we don't have a question, not a single damn question about the most important position in all of sports. And it's been a long time since we've been able to say that. It feels like it's been longer than 2020 since that Matt Ryan's final year. But it's been a long 4 seasons without having, us up here and everybody in Falcon. I mean, everybody who is a Falcons fan should be sad, mad, dejected, disappointed, whatever you want to say. Nobody should have any negative emotion towards our quarterback position.
I mean, if you look at this game, I mean, and this is why box scores don't tell the whole. And Michael Penix's box score is quite impressive. I mean, like I just said, 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers for a guy making his 4th career start against the defending 4-time NFC South champions. You're going to take that every day of the week. If that was all,
with no run game.
If that's what I'm about to get into. No run game, 0. None to speak of. Couldn't generate the run at all. Michael Penix was damn near our leading rusher, and he only had like 15 yards. I mean, that's how bad it was on the ground for the Falcons. Spotty pass protection at best. I mean, he was getting out of the pocket. He was making plays with his feet. He was avoiding sacks. He was turning those plays into throws down the field or scrambling for a critical first down, for a critical touchdown, when Zach Robinson could get his head right out of his ass because nothing he was calling was working. And we'll get into the negatives. I want to start first segment more positives, but this game was set up for him to fail. Like the Falcons did nothing to help him.
You didn't even talk about Bijan Robinson had a drop. Drake London had 2 drops in the end zone, one of which I think was a pretty tough catch. The other one, we're expecting Drake London to make that second catch. I mean, that should have been a touchdown. And then Michael Penix gets you 2 fourth downs, one of which was obviously the first down, one of which was the touchdown. I mean, Michael Penix is already he is doing Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is smiling down from the press boxes where he's like, yep, that's what it was like for 15 years here, where we are doing, in 4 games, we are already doing not enough for Michael Penix Jr. The Falcons are already failing Michael Penix Jr. in 4 games.
Even the final throw that he threw to Hodge
should have been caught.
If Hodge
get his hands on it.
If Hodge is aware that ball is in his vicinity, and it's not in his vicinity, it is one of the most. It was one of the most beautiful throws that you will see, because that's a situation where it's like, in no scenario should we even have a chance to score a touchdown there. We have to get in the end zone. We have no timeouts. We got to go towards the sideline. Everybody knows a go's coming, and he still managed to put it in a spot that if our receiver didn't do it, it would have been right in the breadbasket, and we would have walked off the field winners. I mean, that was as good as it gets. Given the circumstances, which were not good for the Atlanta Falcons. And on the flip side, sticking with the positives, that defense was legit. We'll see if it can do it for 17 games. We know that offenses take a little while to gel. The Bucs didn't look fantastic offensively like they typically do. But a lot of that was because, I know people don't realize this, but James Pierce Jr. led the team pressures, had 4 pressures, and on just 23 snaps. That's pretty damn good. I think
I'll just rebut real quick. I think, and I came away thinking, whenever we only rushed 4 people, I mean, Baker Mayfield had all the time in the world. It was either we were right in Baker Mayfield's face, or he had all the time to throw in the world. And it was basically if we could if Ulbrich brought pressure or not. If we brought 5 or more people, we were consistently getting home. And on that final drive, we were living and dying by that. And I don't have a problem with it, because we couldn't get any pressure with 4 guys. I think that is where a lot of people are
it's fair.
They see these advanced stats. I've seen some people throwing it out we pressured, more or just about as much as anybody else. But then Falcons fans are like, I mean, are my eyes lying to me? And I think just the difference is, and maybe somebody smarter than me or who really tracks the data of the game can tell me just how often we got pressure with just bringing 4 versus bringing extra guys. But I think that was the biggest difference.
No, there was no doubt that was part of the game plan. I mean, it was pressure. And listen, it worked. And that's where I look at Jeff Ulbrich and how we talked about his impact on the defense. It was
it's crazy.
That was a night and day defense. Those blitzes that he were dialing up. I mean, Billy Bowman got a sack. I mean, who had Billy Bowman first sack of the Falcons season on their bingo card? Not me. That was that the blitzes were creative. They were impressive. They constantly had Baker Mayfield on pressure. Baker Mayfield on 100. He had 3 touchdowns, and Baker Mayfield played really, really well. He played really, really well in this game. He had 167 yards passing on 17 for 32. And he played about as well. I mean, even the plays that they made were perfect throws in tight windows. There was nothing easy. And you look at the other 2 touchdown drives outside of that disappointing last drive, which everyone's going to be like, we just can never come up with the play. And listen, I get it. We've been through it. But you look at the other 2 touchdowns, right? They started around the 40-yard line of the Falcons. No, the Bucs could not drive the length of the field on this defense. Xavier Watts came up with big plays. It wasn't a perfect game for him, but he was huge. And nearly had 2 interceptions that would have totally made that look different. Billy Bowman played pretty well. James Pierce Jr. had his moments on the pass rushing side of things.
Rucaroro played better than
Divine Diablo was a stud.
Everyone's going to remember Rucaroro's, roughing the passer penalty, which was just so egregious. I was screaming watching my television. But if you can't just subtract that, but in terms of physically, that's a mental mistake. Physically, he looked pretty good. Divine Diablo looked really good. Both rookies in the secondary looked really good. Like all of the pieces that, I hear people on sports radio today talking about, this is not the final form of the Falcons. The young players are going to be even better. It's like the young guys played really, really well. Like, are we just like, I'm not saying that they can't go. The ceiling isn't, they can't get better or anything like that. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on the Falcons parade. Like they're not going to get better because the rookies did play better. They could play worse. But I'm just saying, like, I can't think of one guy where I'm like, yeah, he played really bad. Like everyone that you were
on
like,
the defense,
on the defensive side, of the
I
ball,
can think of a few on offense.
Defensively, I'm talking the young guys. They all played really, really well. Like I have no qualms whatsoever with anything that happened on the defense. Even the what ended up being the game-winning touchdown, that's just a great pitch and catch by a guy in Baker Mayfield who is squarely a top 10 quarterback, and Emeka Egbuka, who might be a rookie, but is certainly going to be one of the 30 best wide receivers, maybe even 20 best wide receivers by season's end.
Yeah. No, I thought
like that, and Mike Hughes had good coverage.
And that's what's disappointing, because we are going to go to break and we're going to talk about why we lost this game, because I think it's very clear and obvious the reasons that we lost this game. But you got to be it's hard not to be a little bit excited about that, especially the Penix aspect. Like we have our guy. I
think a lot of Falcons fans are pessimistic on this Monday morning or Tuesday evening. I guess you're watching this, but I don't think you should be.
No,
I don't think we could talk about the negatives because they deserve to be ripped.
Yes, but it's weird because I feel like even though we're 0-1 and this is a critical match,
I wanted to see.
Yeah, this is a critical matchup. If I'm predicting the Falcons to make the playoffs, which we did on this very show, we both did. I feel more confident about that happening after what I saw this past Sunday. And it's not because of all the negatives that we're about to talk about. It's because of Michael Penix Jr. It's because of the defense. That defense is going to be an average unit. I feel more than confident in saying they will be average.
I agree.
And they were a bottom 5 unit last year. And we got bottom 10 quarterback for 2/3 of the season last season. Bottom 5 quarterback for 2/3 of the season. If Michael Penix is healthy, I mean, is it crazy? Like maybe I'm getting too far out ahead of myself, but like he looks like a top 10, 12 quarterback. Like that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So we'll get to break. We'll talk about the negatives because there sure were a lot of them. Raheem Morris, Younghoe Koo. Something's got to be done about this coaching staff.